Now, it's quite clear that Arsenal still have a striker crisis at the club. While they have found solutions with players within the squad and probably will have to do so, in this video we're going to talk about a couple of free agent rumours that could potentially happen and trying to see the legitimacy of them playing for Arsenal. So let's get into it. Now, this video has stemmed from the recent reports that Roberto Firmino could potentially terminate his contract at Al Hilal, with Arsenal and Flamengo monitoring the situation. Now, if you're confused, basically Roberto Firmino is playing in Saudi Arabia, of course, after leaving Liverpool, and the 33-year-old has been taken out and not registered for their league squad, and he's only playing in the AFC Champions League. Now, this is interesting because he played the other day in that cup competition and actually scored and was captain, and his next game that he has to play is at the start of March, so he has a long time without any football, which has reportedly meant he wants to terminate his contract and leave. Now, we all know who Roberto Firmino is, a brilliant false nine option at Liverpool who can link up well in deep positions and play off players incredibly well as well, but he's not exactly quick anymore, and he is relatively quite strong still, but at 33 you've got to think that is definitely past it, so we are definitely on the lowest of low options as we can get. Now, I've done a lot of research into Roberto Firmino's not only situation but if Arsenal could actually sign him, because there's been a lot of reports about it, and it's still a situation I'm not 100% on, but I don't think it is likely. This is because even if he was to make himself a free agent right now, our transfer window has ended, and because the Premier League has certain rules, it means that he probably won't be able to be registered for us this season, considering he's also played in the AFC Champions League recently. Now, I'm not 100% on this because it is very hard to find these rules. If you look at free agent rules around the world, especially in the Premier League, it just says you can sign a free agent whenever you can, but it has different situations on terminating the contract. Now, it is definitely true that if a player gets released from a Premier League team, he won't be able to join another Premier League team within that same window because of registration rules. Now, this is where the Craig Dawson situation comes up. Craig Dawson a few weeks ago tried to terminate his contract at Wolves, but it is reported that this guy cannot join another Premier League side because he wasn't a free agent within the market. He tried to release his contract on the 7th of February after the window had already gone. Now, this is definitely a valid claim that it may stop us from getting Firmino in, but I also don't think this is 100% reliable, because I have found research and notes that suggest that only this applies to Premier League oppositions, and I don't know how it applies to other leagues, especially not in Europe. I don't know if the rules are different for a player coming from a different place. But if these rules were in place, it would mean that Firmino would only be able to join clubs that's transfer window is still open. So you're looking at Brazil and America, which he is linked to Flamengo, his home country of course, and it is definitely an interesting situation, because why would Firmino want to get out of his contract even if he's not playing too much and can't play for a month? With the amount of money that he is earning out there, surely you would just stay for a few months until that transfer window opens. So maybe he knows something we don't, or maybe he just wants to go back to Brazil, which is also a very valid option. Now, that is not the only free agent news that we have. Carlos Vela, obviously former Arsenal player who never really contributed and achieved too much in Europe. He was pretty good in the Liga for a time, but never really amazing. Obviously went to the MLS and became an absolute star, is a free agent. Now, apparently Arsenal have looked at him and spoke to him, and I do find that quite hard to believe. I think Arsenal would rather just play Marino up front, or Trossard, or even Sterling playing, than Carlos Vela, who is more than a winger than a striker, and he's not really fast, he's not really incredibly technical anymore, and he is in his 30s, so he's not exactly young, and I don't really see the point of it. Now, what I guess is that a lot of journalists and media are kind of using the fact that Arsenal need to sign a forward and sort of plopping their players in there. I think agents are probably propping up their players. Obviously everyone would want to join Arsenal if you haven't got a job, and trying to get Arsenal to sort of bite to get these players in, but it's just not going to happen in my opinion. I thought Firmino could be an option if we can get them legislation rules done, because I actually think he is probably a player that Arteta likes, and he is a false nine, he can come in for a couple of months. But even then, with the rules, I'm not sure what is going on, and it just does seem a little bit unlikely. Now, I do think overall what you're going to see is Mourinho play a lot more up front. I know he said in his interview the other day that he doesn't think he'll be playing up front too much, but I just can't see that happening. We gave him a go up front. It really worked well and won us the game in 20 minutes. And although I think against lower blocks and mid blocks, I think he's probably better than playing, I do think there will be situations where he is going to have to come in. And with the rumours that Saka and Martinelli won't be back until April, I just don't see it very likely that he isn't going to get a game time. He's the similest player that we have to Kai Havertz. He's obviously amazing in the air and has that sort of timing and finishing that we can bring to the team. And if he's got good positioning, which he has showed he can do, I just think it is going to be an option. Although I still think you'll probably see Trossard, Sterling and Waneri start most of the games and him come on later. I don't really think it's a thing you want to see from the start. Now, Arsenal, in my opinion, shouldn't make a free agent signing. I just think that they said they didn't want to get a body in the January transfer window, and I actually think Tell would have been a good body for that, but I can get why they didn't do it with the money in the future. So it is very unlikely if we gave up the opportunity to sign people like Tell and Koda Mawani, who probably didn't want to come to England anyway, then we're going to sign Carlos Vela and Roberto Firmino in big 2025. These guys are ancient. Now, I didn't want to put too much negativity on it because Firmino could always happen if we go rogue and if the rules allow us to, but I just don't think that with the news that I have got and with the news that seems to have come out, I just don't think it is very likely Arsenal make any transfers. I don't want to get people's hopes up that they are going to happen because realistically we're already looking to the summer. It looks like that Zubimendi deal might be even closer now, so I think we're all just trying to pull in that same direction. Does that mean we did the right thing? No. Does that mean we're going to do the right thing? Not necessarily, but I have more trust in the future than I do panic buying a player now, because that isn't really, one, what Arsenal do, and two, what we should do. We should have bought players in the summer. We should have maybe bought a player in January, but there's no point of getting a free agent now because you made mistakes then. Just use the players we've got. If we don't have great players that adapt, then just play some of the youngsters. We might as well try things because realistically that league title does seem a bit far-fetched right now, and I just don't really think we have too much to lose compared to other teams. We're going to probably come top 4 pretty easily. We are still incredibly good, and Arteta is still an incredible manager, even though a lot of people for some reason don't think that. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of different transfer news that really gets promoted over the next couple of months and into the summer, but ultimately we have to wait till the summer until we're going to make any big moves. I expect 2 big attackers to come in, and I think we have been promised that by the board and their inability to really significantly help the squad going forward. And I'm also hoping that we get some other players in around the squad that will help. I'm expecting a big window, one of the biggest in my opinion for Arsenal, and if not, I will be incredibly disappointed. This is the time we cannot waste, and we've already wasted way too long. It's now time to act. Now, overall, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that Firmino would actually be a good signing if he was to join? Less said about Carlos Vela because I think we can all agree he's probably not good enough, but I think Firmino could be an option where he comes in and does something a little bit good to help the team. It would also be quite fun to see him against Liverpool in the title race, considering he is like a Liverpool legend, so that would be a funny way to get back at them. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys for watching.